Ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday afternoon, evening, depending on where you are. Chris Farina is on the West Coast, so it's a little earlier there. I'm still in Florida, as usual. Chris, thank you very much. Welcome to NSL Talk.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking the time. It has been a turbulent time for you.
It has.
For everybody who is interested in forward competition.
Yeah, although I think there's only about 5 or 6 people that it affected in a major way.
Affected in a major way, but you know, Airspeed has fans, the Airspeed members have fans, and everybody is, especially when it comes to Airspeed, it's a very emotional fan group. You know, the following is highly engaged usually. So
yeah, I think after 21 years, the team itself has built up, a lot of people who care about what happens.
And you have finally been a part of it for a long time. You have been on the opposite side, trying to chase the big monster.
7 years, 6 on Fury, and then 1 on Rhythm, trying to beat him.
And you came very close with Fury.
Yeah, I think if we had been able to hold it together, we might have had a chance, but, coulda, woulda, shoulda. You just never know.
That's right. And your former Fury members have moved quite a bit around in the similar scenario between Airspeed and Rhythm as well.
Yes. Yeah. Josh was the first, and then everything kind of snowballed from there.
And Josh became an Airspeed member and then world champion, and then you became an Airspeed member, almost a world champion in 2014. Christy made it to the opposition first, was never invited by Airspeed after that. But you and her and Rhythm, you got also pretty close in the pursuit of Airspeed.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the Fury project kind of died with everybody going on to other things. But Rhythm's still going strong, and they seem to be determined to take down Airspeed. So we'll see what they come up with in the next couple of years.
And then last time we talked was at the USPA Nationals, and we were, talking about of course, the event itself, and then what's going to happen afterwards, and so forth and so forth. And you were thinking by then already, we knew that Thomas had plans to finish after the Mondial to come. So we talked about then that was officially announced.
Yep.
Then we talked with and about Mikhail Mark coming as the new member after that.
Yep.
And then it became even more turbulent because then that Chris Farina is not with Airspeed any longer.
Yeah, so we got back from the Dubai meet, and we had decided we were going to talk, I believe, on December 28th about the future and what we needed to do to prepare for the upcoming year and the Mondial. Unfortunately, as part of that meeting, I was given some information that I was no longer on the team. The group as a whole decided that there was something lacking and the team needed a change, and I ended up being that change. I was, there's 1,000 different ways to word it probably, but the short answer is the team decided that I wasn't what the team needed as part of the group to take the team to a successful Mondial, and they said that they were going to replace me.
Which put the team in a very interesting situation, because now we are 7 months away from the World Championship, where of course Airspeed wants to win the gold medals, and we didn't really know for a while what is going to happen. There were names, Josh Hall, and Mikhail is officially the new guy anyway already. And as of today, or yesterday, today, we actually know what's going to happen, and you can break the news actually for us now.
Yeah, like you said, you've talked to people, and I've talked to people, so we're not saying anything that isn't out in the public at this point, or at least it's not maybe widespread yet, but it's out there enough that we're able to talk about it. Originally, when I was, had the meeting with the team and told that I was no longer a member, the initial plan that I was given at that point was they were going to bring Josh in back into the point slot, and they were going to move Nicholas back to the inside center slot. So they'd have 3/4 of the 2012 lineup, and then Thiago replacing, being in the tail slot instead of Mark. Come to find out, Josh was unable due to family commitments to commit to the team and do as much training as they would need to do. I believe Josh is staying on as the alternate and will be going to the World Meet as the alternate. He just can't commit to the full-time training schedule. And with that, they brought Mikhail in to fill the open slot. My understanding is, and again, I haven't talked to the guys in a while since they figured out that they weren't going to have Josh available and that they were going with Mikhail. I'm assuming they're still sticking with the same plan of Mikhail going to the point slot and Nicholas back to inside center. But I haven't spoken to anyone about that for sure.
Yeah, we'll find out about that. I hope that we'll have airspeed on the record next in the upcoming week. They have trained with Mikhail already. But besides that, I mean, that it was a shocker for the Norway community. It must have been. I mean, it was surprising for you, right? You didn't really.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you that I saw it coming, but it definitely was a surprise to me. There's a longer backstory that we probably can't go into right now, but I certainly was not expecting to go into that meeting on the 28th and be told that I was being replaced. So it was definitely a shocker to me, and it's definitely thrown a wrench in my plans and put me in a little bit of a scramble to try and figure out what I'm going to do going forward.
So what's going to happen? Is Chris Farina going to build a team and try to beat airspeed now?
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm definitely not going anywhere as far as four-way is concerned. I'm planning on still doing something this year. I'm in talks with a couple different groups. Some of it may be more along the lines of player coaching, and one in particular may be something a little bit more serious. Whether or not we're going to actually be able to put something together to give airspeed a run for their money, I'm not going to commit to that for now.
Well, we're not going to lose you out of our formation skydiving.
No, sir. Not anytime soon.
Yeah. Looking back a little bit, I mean, you've been competing with Hayabusa now for a while, for 2 years basically, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them on previous teams at things like the Bedford Challenge and things like that. Fury had gone up against them there. Rhythm even had gone up against them there. So I mean, I've watched those guys and their progression and seen the scores and been competing against them for a number of years. But certainly, as far as really giving them any real competition, it's only been the last couple of years on airspeed.
Yeah, and the very last competition, I mean, it was so shocking and somehow surprising for everybody, because especially the very last competition, the World Air Games, it was a 10-round meet, and I think it was 4 points, 5-point difference at the end.
We finished 4 points behind them. Yeah. After round 5 we were tied, and then we had a little bit of a rough round 6, and then we spent 7, 8, and 9 kind of fighting our way back. And actually after round 9, we were only down by 2 points. And then round 10 wasn't really designed as a round that we could really make up points on. But our intention was to try and go make up those 2 points in round 10 and see if we could force a jump off. Unfortunately, as part of that, we stumbled a little bit in round 10, probably from trying to push a little bit harder than we were ready for. And we ended up losing another 2 points in round 10, which in the end put us down by 4 at the end of the meet.
But it's 5-point difference in 270 points or so. It is still not much, So it seems like it's close enough actually to be able at any meet to beat them or lose or whatever.
Right.
Then on the other hand, airspeed has really outscored Hayabusa only at the World Meet in Dubai, and previously at the Shamrock here. But ever since, it seemed like Airspeed is not able any longer now to beat Hayabusa. And do you think they maybe panicked a little bit, or didn't see what are we going to do now? What is your impression? What's going on? What happened?
You know, it's hard to say what's going on in the minds of the other guys, short of, you know, the little bit that they've given me. Unfortunately, they haven't provided a great deal of depth, in my opinion, to exactly where the decision came from and why the decision came. You know, saying that they panicked may be a little overstating it, but it does seem like, in my opinion, you know, and having been a part of it, that it may have been a little bit rash of a decision. To me, it felt like we may have jumped the gun on that decision a little. I would have a feeling that they're going to have a different outlook and opinion on that, and everybody's obviously entitled to that. And I'm not trying to say, you know, that they did anything wrong or that they did anything, you know, negative necessarily. But you know, looking back on it now, especially given the situation that they weren't able to get Josh, that, you know, expecting that they thought they were going to get Josh, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge than they may have had with Josh.
Well, it is as it is. So now you have turned into an observer position, like the NSL is.
True.
So we can chat more in the future, observing actually the countdown to the Mondial. So if you're looking at it right now, 7 months away, Mikael is coming in as the point. Hayabusa, the reigning world champions. What kind of chances do you give Airspeed from here on forward to still win the gold medals at the Mondial?
You know, that's a tough question. You know, I think even with everything that's happened, I'm always going to be, you know, rooting for the U.S. I'm always going to be, and if Airspeed's that team, then I'm always going to be rooting for the U.S. to win. And you know, I'm still involved with the team a little bit. I'll probably still be working with the team on some projects and things. So we still have a pretty good working relationship. But I'm also gonna, you know, I'm gonna try and give you my honest opinion and what I see as the realistic outlook. I think it's going to be a challenge. Can they do it? Sure. I mean, I would never discount Airspeed. I would never discount Thomas, Nick, and Tiago and Mikael. I mean, I think they're hard workers. They're willing to put in the effort that it takes to get the job done, and I think they will. But I think it's a little bit of an uphill battle right now. I think Hayabusa was already ahead of us when I was in there, and you know, we had trained with that particular lineup for over a year, or just about a year, a little over a year, and we still came up 4 points short. And now they're in a position where, at least if they go with the plan that I have been, you know, I initially think they're going to go with Mikael going to point. You know, Mikael's super talented. I've been watching Mikael. I started coaching Mikael on one of his first four-way teams. So I've seen Mikael's you know, meteoric rise to where he is, and he's an exceptional talent. Probably, you know, one of the best I've seen in a very long time. However, having said that, he is being put into a new slot, and he's going to be asked, you know, very quickly to have to go faster than he's ever gone before. I mean, I think Mikael's done somewhere close to a 25, 24 and a half, 25. You know, it's probably going to take a 27, maybe even close to a 28 to win the world meet. So he's got to learn a new slot. He's got to learn a new piece partner, and he's got to figure out how to go as fast as it's going to take to win the world meet. You know, and then, you know, you've also got Nick and Tiago, you know, which I think this will happen pretty quickly, but Nick and Tiago are also in a position where they've got to learn to fly with each other. I don't think that's going to take very long, because both of them have been in those slots before, and both of them are exceptional flyers. And I think with a little bit of training and some block work and block talk, you know, they're going to come together pretty quickly. But you know, when you take the whole package, I think there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, nothing is impossible. Has never been with Airspeed, and I guess we'll look at it and follow that. I mean, it's we are in the same boat, watching it with great interest now.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and then we'll see what Farina is going to do. First, observing and discussing things with the Sunpath Products NSL news, of course, and then we may see you at the Shamrock Showdown, I hear, and we'll see you compete probably at some time.
You will probably see me at Shamrock. That's definitely in the talks. And as far as work goes, I've started hooking back up with Christy and Josh and potentially even Uli in California. There's a couple new tunnels opening there. And we're talking about doing some tunnel camps, and one of the projects I'm looking at as far as player coaching and stuff may be back in Paris.
And Josh is the director of the Southern California Skydiving League. Needs some help there, I guess. That too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and you may even see some kind of reunion, and I'll leave it at that.
Right. Yes, that's a great thought. So I want to leave it like this. We are considering or thinking about the Paris Fury comeback at some point, like the Dylan Norgis or others.
It's certainly not out of the realm of possibility.
Except that you'll be on a very high level with that team, probably. Okay, well, that's a good end, Chris. I think we're going to leave it just like that. And then this week we hopefully hear directly from Airspeed as well. And good luck with everything. And I'm glad we'll have you around, for the near future.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely going to be involved. I'll still be coaching. I'll still be working, and hopefully still competing.
Thank you very much, Chris.